Hey Zaya, where are we? Are we at Daddy's work?
No.
So, I'm waiting for Brandon to come down. He had to run up to his desk, his office. I've created a monster. Okay, so we just got done having lunch with Brandon. I try to have lunch with Brandon once a week, just because we think that taking care of our marriage is of the utmost importance. We kind of have the odds stacked against us, and so we really focus on beating the odds. So both of us come from divorced homes. I've been married previously before. We have children with special needs, which that dramatically increases the rate of divorce just because of burnout and financial issues, etc. So we had gotten to the point when we lived in Richmond that we had a date every 2 weeks at night, and that was super nice because we could do all kinds of things, and all our kids could go. Well, then in Minnesota, we did the same thing through the YMCA. We did Parents Night Out, and it was much cheaper for us because they capped families at $33 each. So that was super nice. I'm sitting in Brandon's office parking lot, so it's a little awkward when people walk by. So instead of doing that, we figure the gas money plus Isaiah with us because he's so young, and his little ears don't quite understand everything, because we usually like to talk about issues that have come up during the week, or making plans for kids, or just, you know, general things we need to do. But we don't want our kids to hear everything. So I came up to his work today. I wore my hair curly. It's like huge right now. I feel like a lion. But we talked about some purchases that we need to make now that we're living in Florida. So it was like impromptu budget dream wish list. Like, I need a nicer stroller for walking Isaiah, because right now I only have an umbrella stroller because I used a double stroller for so long that when Solomon was old enough to walk like everywhere pretty much, I got rid of it. I sold it on Craigslist, and we just went down to the umbrella. I do remember a time where we had the double and an umbrella stroller. So we are getting, it's just like seasons are changing. All the kids are in school except for Isaiah, which has been a huge adjustment for us this year. Before this, we used to homeschool. But with the death of my aunt, who I said that the northern way, my Auntie Karen, who is really more like a mother figure to me, I just didn't feel like I had this, in moving, I didn't feel like I had the support system in order for me not to go insane. Does that make sense? But just because I was processing the grief, and it was just really hard trying to recover from that. And every time I looked at the curriculum and stuff, I had really high anxiety, which is not normal for me. I've struggled with anxiety before, but not to the same extent as I have since my aunt died. I mean, like, I seriously almost had a nervous breakdown at one point, and I just remember thinking, like, I don't need one more thing to add to this. I Just getting up and getting dressed each day and taking care of Isaiah and Solomon was hard enough. And getting kids on the bus. I mean, that was just, some days that took all the energy I had, just because I was so distraught that the one person that I had been with all my life was gone. I was just distraught. So she wasn't my blood aunt. She was actually my mom's ex-best friend. They met when my mom was pregnant with me, and my mom, they had a falling out and they quit speaking. But thankfully I was old enough where I could continue the relationship on my own as an adult, and so she really filled the grandmother role for all of our children, and the mom role for me. And so with Mother's Day coming up, I think that may be what has kind of sparked my my anxiety a bit here recently. I don't think the move to Florida did. I think it was just really, you know, my aunt got sick right around this time last year, and she died in June. And that, coupled with the recent death of my father and daddy, has kind of spiked it a little bit. But so anyways, we used to homeschool, we don't now, so we've, you know, had to adjust to that, and it's just been a lot of adjustments. So date night, or date day, is actually really nice. Braden has an amazing cafeteria. I had the same exact sandwich I had last week. I think that's going to be my regular. And I had another fruit cup. Empowering. It's currently 83, but the humidity, as you can tell by looking at my hair, is kind of high today. I don't know what it is, but it looks like it may be about to rain. I have some paperwork stuff to do for Solomon for this summer, because he has apraxia. And that's something I haven't talked about. So that is his special need, and that's why he's in developmental preschool. So long story to say, it's been a big adjustment going from having 5 kids at home to having, in Minnesota, I had 3 in full-time school, and then Solomon in half-day school for developmental preschool, and then he went to the church school. On Friday morning, so that was like 5 days a week he did something half-day, to now having Solomon gone all day. It's been a pretty hefty adjustment, but I'm doing okay with it. My house is very quiet, and that's kind of when my anxiety and, you know, my sadness and things like that come in, is when it's quiet. And that's why I tell some of my friends, like, nights are really hard for me. Like, once everybody's gone to bed, and like once there's nothing else to watch on TV and I've turned it off and I'm just like laying there in bed, though, that's when it gets hard. So I am trying to effectively manage anxiety, especially this weekend as Mother's Day comes up. You okay? And so Brandon and I just talked about that, but that's like something that I don't really want to talk about in front of all 5 of my children. It's just, it's our time to reconnect, and you know, we talk at night, but usually it's like about our day, what's coming up next. It's just not the same level that we talk about when we're alone. Or alone with Isaiah or Nurse Lane or whatever. So had a good lunch. Some budget things came up. We got our car insurance quote and it went up triple. Could have been an issue, but luckily our car's paid off, so we have that car payment that can get sucked back in the car insurance. And this is something Brandon and I were discussing, is, you know, like margin, having margin in your life and in your budget. And that's basically what we're doing by eliminating debt, is we're creating margin for things that come up, or for things that we want to do extra, like, you know, if we want to travel, well, then we need margin somewhere, right? Otherwise you're just creating debt. And so, you know, we have a good amount of margin because all our credit cards are paid off. We just have our student loan left. And so we have margin, but I was just telling Brandon, like, I couldn't imagine our insurance going up triple when we still had a car payment, and, you know, we still had credit cards, and we still had this, and we still had that. Like, I would be trying to figure out where that would come from. I'm just glad to be feeling much better. So yesterday I woke up and I had, my throat felt like it was on fire, and I don't have any tonsils, so I was like, this isn't tonsillitis. And I told Brandon, I said, I feel like I either have a sinus infection or an upper respiratory infection, possibly strep. And so I went to the doctor, and he ran like a quick strep test, which has a certain percentage of false negatives. So they usually send them out to culture to make sure that it truly is negative. But because I have no spleen, which I think I've discussed in one of my grocery hauls, my immune system just kind of sucks. I always have a high white count because my body overcompensates for me not having a spleen. So I don't get sick often anymore. When I was younger, I did. But when I do get sick, it just takes me a little while to kick it. So we went to the urgent care, and he was like, we need to go ahead and get you on antibiotics. You have pharyngitis, upper right red throat, and an upper respiratory infection. And I told Brandon, I was like, dang, I should have been a doctor. So we, I started antibiotics yesterday. I'm feeling better, still a little congested, but my throat feels amazing. Mommy was down for the count last night, but I'm back up. So, who knows? It's just living life in Florida. I still can't believe I live here, y'all. I still think that we're on vacation. The only time I don't think we're on vacation is when I'm sitting in car line, which takes like 45 minutes. I hope everything is well. If you enjoy our content, I know today was kind of rambly, give us a thumbs up, and if you would like to be notified whenever we do updates, go ahead and subscribe. We're getting closer to 250, and we're going to do a Q&A. So as usual, if you have any prayer requests, you can find us on Facebook at Gettin Gazelle. Gettin Gazelle. You can find us at gettingazelle@gmail.com. You can leave it in the thing down below, the comment bar down below, if it's not too private and you just want to leave it there. If it's private, you can use the other two methods. I think that's it. Have you thought about Mother's Day? Have you budgeted? Have you mailed your card? Anyways, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.